You're doing something a little bit different today, but not really different because if you've listened to the podcast, if you've watched the show here on Twitch or on YouTube, you know that every week we talk about what comic books we're going to be buying. But when you're a comic book fan, it goes a little bit deeper than just picking out what you're going to be reading that week because solicitations come out months in advance. And being super nebbish about what I'm buying, I always have to look and see what's coming out. So I figured since we're at the beginning of a brand new month here, we're 1 week into July, I would start to take a look at maybe what books were coming out over that month that I might be interested in picking up or checking in on or checking back on. Some of these will just be looking at the covers of things that are coming out and making a snap judgment on that. Again, we're 1 week into July. I thought about going back to the beginning of the month, but I figured, no, it's already going to be a lot to talk about 4 weeks for July 2025. So we're just going to kick it off with what's coming out this week. And you'll hear more about some of these books once we actually record the proper episode with John and Paul with the comics coming out for July 9th. But just going right into it to start off, I'm very interested in Archie Meets Giant Silent Bob #1. And this is actually coming out from Archie Comics. So it probably won't be super hard edge. This one definitely being written by Kevin Smith, art by Fernando Ruiz. And it does say it's a double-sized can't-miss event for mature audiences, unlike anything they've ever done before. So right off the bat, I am wrong. I love Jay and Silent Bob in a nostalgic way. I don't think those movies age super well, but I'm intrigued by this one. Paul tends to buy a lot of the Archie stuff. I don't think this is something that he would be picking up. Maybe John, though. And like I said, kind of looking at some of the covers, I think they're fantastic. Francisco Francavilla. If I bought this one, that's probably the one that I'd be grabbing. Phil Hester coming in too. Also, Kevin Smith doesn't look like this anymore. He's really trimmed down after his heart attack. Ty Templeton coming in here with a Clerks animated series one. Love that show. I wish it would come back somewhere, even just for streaming. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't know. We have a Blunt Man Chronic with, Betty and Veronica. I don't know. It's interesting. I have this one soft pulled. I don't think I'll buy it. It's $8. That's kind of pricey, and I am trying to trim back on my comic buying. So that's a soft pull. If it goes on sale, maybe we would grab that one. But continuing on through the rest of the week, Darksiders X Street Fighter Blood Throne #1. I'm a okay Street Fighter player. I actually used to really like Darkstalkers. They don't really have the liveliness that Street Fighter does, which is kind of depressing because it's Street Fighter but with monsters, and that's just really cool. Who wouldn't want more of that? Coming out from Udon Studios, written by Tim Seeley, art by Alberto Jimenez Albuquerque. New story arc begins here. They don't ever put out comics anymore, so it's brand new, just miniseries, I guess. Yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. I would much rather they put out a new Darkstalkers game somewhere that I could play. That would be a fighting game that I would probably check out again. Because I'm not good at fighting games anymore. Like, everything's way too combo driven, and I'm just like a twitchy button masher. Covers are pretty cool, though. Definitely have a Morgan cover, which would be the winner if we're buying these. Couple Morgan covers. Darkstalkers knows their audience. Mirka Andolfo with Lilith, and see, this is okay. That's this cover is $50 for 32 pages. I just looked at the price and I was like, oh my gosh, like this book would not be getting pulled for $50, but $5.99, not outside the realm of possibilities for just actual grabbing. But continuing on, Marvel Comics has Fantastic Four #1 coming out, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be Paul's pick for the list for this week. Brand new #1, written by, is it Ryan North? Yep, Humberto Ramos on art. It makes sense that Marvel's putting out a brand new Fantastic Four because we do have the movie coming out in a couple weeks. What better time to capitalize on the first family? Some cool covers here, too. Alan Davis, Cliff Chang. We're going to take a look at that one. His artwork is fantastic. Like him, Michael Cho. I love that kind of lo-fi style. We got a sassy Sue Storm, Ji Hung Lee. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with relaunching Fantastic Four. We know it'll go back to legacy numbering eventually, 727. Do we guess 750 or 800 when they go back? Or is it after this arc's over and they just go back to it? Yeah, not mad at this. Pretty sure that's going to be Paul's pick, or he's going to be grabbing Fantastic Four First Steps #1, and this is going to be the tie-in to the upcoming movie. Written by Matt Fraction, art by Mark Buckingham. I think this is Matt Fraction's first work back at Marvel in a while. I may be wrong on that, but I'm surprised he's coming back for a tie-in book. $4.99, 32 pages. Cover Phil Noto. Yep. Love his style. This looks great. He does likenesses really well. Also still kind of like a pop art. What's the Norman? I was going to say Norman Osborn. You know, American Heritage artist. You know who I'm talking about. Fire and Ice, I wanted to check this one out. I like them as characters, but not enough to start buying a mini-series on. Scrolling through. Gotham City Sirens. I actually picked up the first issue of this for my partner, Yanni, because she does like the Sirens books normally. And what's cool is this is a mini-series that's going to be coming out, but the issues are coming out weekly. So you're basically only buying in for like 4 or 5 weeks of comics on this. 32 pages, $3.99. Written by Leah Williams, art by Henning. I flipped through the first one. I did not read it. But, you know, comic books are supposed to be fun, and who doesn't have more fun than Harley Ivy and Selena Kyle? Also, like, Despero's the villain of this. When would you ever have these 3 characters going up Despero in a regular comic? Never. Green Lantern Corps is an instant pull for me. Always been a Green Lantern fan. And really loving that they're expanding out this line again. Jeremy Adams, Morgan Hampton, with art by Amake Nahopan. Probably butchering that. Return of Mogo. We have not seen Mogo in a little bit since Mogo actually destroyed the planet of Ran and Thanagar. Super Sons doing their own thing. I do think the covers are really cool. We're probably going to have to pull this Ryan Gonzalez paper doll variant if we see it at the store. Super adorable, and her art's just fantastic. If not, base cover, absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just kind of your standard Green Lantern fare, but this Joe Mullen cover is really cool too, though. That would probably be the one that I'm going for when I see it on the shelf on Wednesday. Going through. I don't read the manga outside of the volumes. I've only picked up the first 2, but Kagurabachi is really cool. Definitely something that I probably would want to catch up with, and I hope it gets adapted into an anime at some point because I think that the artwork for it would just be stunning when done live. Magic #7. I've really been enjoying the Magic comic coming out from Marvel. I don't know how long this is going to last for. Marvel's been very cut-friendly when it's been coming to the X-Men books that they're putting out. Basically, if everything's making it to an issue number 10, that's kind of a surprise. There's already rumors that Psylocke will be ending, and that's the other one that I have been pulling for the X-Men solo titles. But written by Ashley Allen, art by Herman Peralta. Come on. Slania and Danny. That's just cool. Variant covers, Joe Quinones Retrovision. Pretty cool. Old school. Kitty Pryde, Colossus on there. And we have a 1 in 25 Yasmin Putri. That's a cool cover. Like, if this was just a B cover, that's probably the one that I would be grabbing. But alas, it's not. I don't like buying variant covers if it's like a little bit more of like a price point associated with it. Like if it's the same price, cool. But if it's like a 1 in 25 and it pushes that price up to like $10 or more, I probably don't grab it. This is also a soft pull over here. The Marvel Swimsuit Special, Friends, Foes, and Rivals. This takes me back to the 90s. Just cheesecake art. But there's actually some really fun creators on this with Tim Seeley, Mahmoud Assar, Nick Bradshaw, Aaron Cooter, Mirka Andolfo, Luciano Vecchio, Magritte Savage. Amazing creators on here. Do I actually buy this? No. But, it's a fun thing to talk about. And it would be fun to make Paul buy it for when we do monthly look back for July. But that's not going to happen. Yeah. It's just kind of fun that Marvel's putting these books out again, or still, because comic books are supposed to be fun. Like, can we just all agree on that? Continuing on through the month, we're in the N's and the P's. Power Fantasy. I really enjoyed the first issue of this coming out from over at Image Comics. This is the newest Kieran Gillen book, art by Caspar Wingard. I want to pick this up in trade paperback. This may be something that I do bring to the table when we actually get to my next rotation for monthly trade policy, but I don't think anybody else really liked it. So this might just be a me book alone. It's a little bit too dark for Paul, and I think it's in line with what John likes, but I try to make the books that we read for the podcast as accessible as possible. Radiant Black, still pulling that. I don't need to open up the solicitation for that one. That's an instant pull for me. I am subscribed to that one. Continuing on, not anything else that's looking too wild here. Actually, Supergirl. Supergirl number 3 coming out from DC Comics. I really enjoyed the first 2 issues of this. It's a really charming, fun Superman family book. And coming into the summer of Superman, I think that's what we really need. The Superman books to just deliver what they're doing, just to kind of drum up more of that interest in the family. Sophie Campbell, colorist. So Sophie Campbell's doing writing and art for it. Variant cover, obviously we grabbed the Art Germ one. The Leslie Elite one's pretty cute too, though. But yeah, I'm buying Supergirl, and I'm also buying a Superman book right now, which we'll talk about that when we get to whatever week it's coming out in. But yeah, Paul really got me into Superman just with buying like Superman 25 for monthly look back, all the Action Comics stuff he was picking up. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm keeping on board with. Transformers, I am still reading, and we're going to open this one up to talk about it for a minute, because this is number 22 from Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment, written by Daniel Warren Johnson, art by Jorge Corona. And Daniel Warren Johnson said at the beginning of his run on this book that he was going to be doing this for at least 25 issues. And that does seem to be the ending point for his run on it. And I've really been enjoying it. As someone that's not even a big Transformers fan, there's a weird nostalgia hit that I get with this book, growing up alongside these characters, that I don't think has been captured in any of the movies besides Bumblebee, which was surprisingly awesome. And I wish Bumblebee had become the launching platform for what Transformers was going to be, because it seems like they're now going to be going back to the Michael Bay kind of stuff, which I really didn't enjoy at all. But yeah, Transformers, I'm still rocking with this one. Everything else in the Energon universe, I'm still really enjoying as well. Void Rivals is hit or miss for me. G.I. Joe is fantastic. Transformers is great. Any of the G.I. Joe spin-off books have been really fun too, but something about Void Rivals, the one that kicked it off and made me excited for the Energon universe, it's just not doing it for me, and I feel bad saying that because I do consider dropping it every month, but for how much I'm enjoying Transformers and G.I. Joe, I feel like then I'd be getting a third of the story. So once we hit issue 25 with Transformers and this, I guess, era of Energon's ending, we'll see if I stay on after that. Because if I drop it, hey, that's 3 more books that I'd be able to rotate in. Continuing on, Uncanny X-Men, I'm still really enjoying this book, but Unchosen is definitely one that I'm excited to talk about too. This is actually coming out from Image Comics, and this is David Marquez, who's actually doing the artwork on some of Uncanny X-Men, because there's been a lot of film stuff. But this is his first creator-owned series where he's doing the writing and art for it. And this kind of hits me just in that way that early 2000s comic books did. And that's what really got me back into comics coming out of high school. 13-year-old Ida wakes up in the city laid waste by a massive explosion, scene of devastation she caused. Pursued by rival forces wielding incredible powers, she must discover who truly wants to help her, who wants to control her, and the truth behind her own mysterious past. Yes, some of this stuff does sound like it's pulling on threads that have already been established over with his Uncanny X-Men work, but I don't know, this is that kind of book that if I saw this coming out from Wildstorm or Cliffhanger Comics back in the day, like we had with Out There, or Crimson was the other one that I loved, Danger Girl, this would be an instant pull for me. So this is something that I'm considering picking for my look back pick for July. I'm definitely going to be buying the book to see if it's something that I want to continue on with and subject the other podcast hosts to, but Unchosen #1, definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Continuing on, Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. I saw this book solicited for #1, and right off the bat, I was like, okay, it's a Wolverine Kitty Pryde book. That sounds cool. I'm not a fan of Chris Claremont's writing. I know he's responsible for a lot of the seminal stuff that we love in X-Men now, but I can't do it. And continuing on even further, we're now into a lot of the webtoon or manga stuff that I don't grab. Maybe I will grab it as a digest volume. Don't know what any of these are. Chainsaw Man, reading that by volume. Dandadan, my girlfriend started reading that. She's 2 volumes in. I need to sit down and steal those from her because season 2 of the anime just started. A lot of fun so far. But let's head into the next week. July 16th. The Absolute books I really wanted to love, and I've got to follow up with John and see if he's enjoyed them anymore, since it seems like he was reading Batman. He enjoyed the Martian Manhunter one. It's hard for me to justify picking them up. I dropped off of the Marvel Ultimate stuff too, even though I was really enjoying those. It's just hard to put down $4 to $5 a month for multiple books that don't matter. And I know they're all fake stories, none of this actually matters, but it's not in continuity. It's hard. I was going to open up Batman #100 here, and I realized that's the Panini Italian version, so we don't need to check that one out because I feel like Batman shouldn't be at 100, so that's like probably all just reprints. Continuing on, Death of the Silver Surfer. We're going to be talking about #1 this week for the podcast because the first issue is actually John's pick for monthly look back. So cover looks really cool. Really enjoyed the Daredevil Cold Day in Hell. I like a darker take, the twilight years of a Marvel superhero, written by Greg Pak. This one would probably be pretty cool. And also that cover is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Moving on, Detective Comics. Detective Comics would be my Batman book if I got back into buying just like a solo Bat title. Exceptional X-Men. This is one that I'm actually surprised is still ongoing. Number 11, written by Eve Ewing, art by Frederica Manson. If X-Force couldn't make it, I'm surprised Exceptional is. It's a team of all new characters. Yeah, it is held together by Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, but I know I like it. I just don't know if anybody else does. Guest starring Ironheart, no affinity for the character. I know Eve Ewing has written some stuff with Riri before that seemed to be pretty well responded to, but I'm not into the Iron Man books or Iron Man family stuff, so I don't have a lot to say. I haven't even watched the show yet. I do think the character is a little mishandled in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It seemed like she was kind of shoehorned in. So that's really all I can base any of my Ironheart sentiments off of. But for variant covers, this one right here, Bobby Drake, Emma Frost, Kitty Pryde on it, that would be an instant grab. So that's probably going to be the one that I pull off the shelf, switch out my A cover for. Already talked about G.I. Joe. Digging this book, but this is one, if I did drop off of Void Rivals and Transformers, as much as I enjoy it, I probably wouldn't lament the loss too much of buying this one. Last issue was a lot of fun with Baroness and CoverGirl kind of going off on their own secret mission. Again, grew up with G.I. Joe, was not a fan, but right now the book's hitting. Also, is Transformers G.I. Joe cover really cool. Dig that one a lot. Hound, again, don't know my Transformers, but that one's pretty cool. All right. I want to talk about the Dynamite Disney books because I always check out the number ones, and they're never exactly what I want them to be. Gargoyles Demona. It's being written by Greg Weisman, who was actually one of the co-creators of the Gargoyles cartoon. Maybe just, again, nostalgia carries more weight than actual execution does, but anytime I've read one of the Gargoyles books, I always just come out on the other side just saying, it was okay. It's not what I want Gargoyles to be. A ton of variant covers for this one, but that's kind of what Dynamite really does. They put out these Disney tie-in books, and there's a lot of fantastic artists doing great covers for them that it just entices me. It just gets me right. I bought the DuckTales number one. I flipped through it, thought it was fine, but I can't keep doing that. Ghost Pepper number one. This is actually a book that I have on a soft pull right now because it sounds kind of fun. Written and art by Ludo Lebay. Fans of the Moon is Following Us don't know it, and Battle Chasers, and that's really what grabbed this one for me. I talked about the cliffhanger stuff before, and this seems like it is one of those cliffhanger style of books. Ludo actually did the artwork for the Battle Chasers continuation, because I don't want to call it a sequel because it was number 11 when that started coming out like 2 years ago now. But humanity survived a monstrous threat, but the world isn't better for everyone. Every day, Lolai hits the road to deliver her delicious cooking to the masses, outsmarting her treacherous competition, staying one step ahead of massive robots protecting them all. But everything changes when she serves a mysterious warrior named Ash, whose secrets might just save the world. If his superhuman strength doesn't destroy it first. This just sounds cool. This is a book that I think I would just pick up in trade too. Trade's already being solicited for January, so that might be what I go for. There is going to be a preview of it in Void Rivals number 20, so that might be something I'd check out. Art Germ cover. Yeah, if I do make the decision to grab this monthly, Stanley Lau, of course. Continuing on, Giant Size House of M. These books are polarizing. A lot of people are still mad that Kamala Khan is kind of getting focused on in the X books, with her origin being retconned to make her a mutant as well. But I think this has been kind of fun, just with her jumping through time and interacting with the X-Men at various stages in her career. I'm not a big fan of Legion as a villain, so having him as like the antagonist in this isn't really doing anything for me, but it's kind of more like a greatest hits of X-Men continuity, and seeing some of those moments again or for the first time from a different perspective, I'm enjoying. This Phil Noto cover, that's the take on that original not Civil War, but House of M. Beautiful. This Scarlet Witch one, really cool too. I mean, they are specialty books. Will it impact actual continuity? No, but I have been enjoying them. Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. Pretty sure that'll be John's pick because he's already buying Godzilla versus everybody else and everything. Gotham City Sirens, Unfit for Orbit. Be grabbing that one for my partner. Already talked about issue number 2 and 1 with that. Continuing on though, Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 3, Image Comics. This is being done by Ryan Kirkman with Ryan Ottley, the creators of Battle Beast over in Invincible. I've really enjoyed this. I thought about just picking up number 1 and then buying it as a trade once it came out because I already have all of the Invincible trades. This is definitely something that I will have in trade just to put on my shelf with them. But Battle Beast is just such a fun character that anytime you see him pop up in Invincible, whether it's the comics or the show, you know he's here for a good time. And that's really what this book has been so far with those first 2 issues. Covers beautiful, 1 in 25. Oh my gosh. I love that. Very Sith coded. But yeah, these covers are the ones that I love, but I wouldn't want to pay anything extra for. 1 in 100. Oh my gosh, Simon Bisley. Love that. Big Simon Bisley Lobo vibes with that one, but yeah, I'm enjoying this book, and I have no issues with supporting more Invincible stuff in hopes that maybe we get another Invincible series or spin-off down the road. Continuing on through our July books. Nightwing, I'm still reading, I'm still enjoying. I don't think the Dexter Soy art is really hitting me how I want. Dan Watters is definitely doing a little bit different take on Nightwing from what we've been getting with the Tom Taylor stuff that was happening. Because I love that bigger superhero story. And yeah, we still get to see Barbara Gordon popping up in this. And they're kind of dealing with some of the fallout from the Titans Tower being in Bloodhaven now. Also, they're bringing back, what was his name? Mightwing, the 5th Dimension version of Dick Grayson, which is fun. Cool, but this arc isn't hitting me how I want. But I'm going to keep buying it because it's Nightwing. Why wouldn't I? Cool covers. That Gotham City Sirens one might be what I would grab if I see it on the shelf. Switch out my regular cover. But it's like $2 more. Maybe not. I instantly changed my mind on that one. Continuing on with our July comics. And I am going to talk about Big Rig right now. Big Rig, we actually got a special look at this for Free Comic Book Day from Vault Comics. This is being written by Post Malone and Adrian Wassel. And I was really surprised at how much I liked this book. And I didn't really read it. I just kind of flipped through because it was like a Free Comic Book Day one. It was something that I just grabbed because they threw it in my bag with my subscription stuff. But I'm intrigued by this one, and this is going to be something that I definitely bring to the table one way or another down the road. Rebel Moon. I'm surprised they're putting out comics based on this for how poorly the movies have been received. Story by Zack Snyder, written by Gail Simone. Gail Simone's, a solid writer, and I think Zack Snyder is a good story guy, so maybe the comics deliver more than the movies do. I would say we'll wait and see, but I'm not going to wait and see. Batman and Robin, or Robin and Batman, Jason Todd. That's a series I did think about picking up, but just trying to trim back my comic book buying as I talk about how I just started buying Superman Unlimited. It's a tough balance to find what you like, what you want to support, and what you can cut. And making the jump from buying all my comic books physically like years ago to then just going straight up digital, and now getting back more into the physical like floppy medium. I'll still just buying some stuff digitally because that's easier to talk about the things that we have on the show and also less space constraints for it. Superman Unlimited was a book that I enjoyed enough that I am going to continue on buying that physically. The Raphael Albuquerque art, I think it is just in the inking or the coloring of it. It's not hitting in the same way that other stuff from him has, like American Vampire, but I do think it is still a good looking book, and I think Dan Slott's having fun, which is exactly what I would want Dan Slott to do. I also clicked on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 10 from IDW, written by Jason Aaron, art by Juan Ferreira. I'm digging this book. I kind of want to see Donatello stop being a weird sad sack, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. There's a bunch of other Ninja Turtle books that are coming out that I'm intrigued by, but I don't know if they're tying into this continuity. So it's hard for me to say if that's stuff that I want to pull or not. And I think one of them does come out later on this month, so we will get to it at some point. Or it might be in August. I'm not 100% sure, but moving forward through the books coming out, July 16th, which is actually John's anniversary. I think that might be the end of the books that I'm actually... Nope, Zatanna. Zatanna I have been buying. I think this is actually the final issue. Yes. The End, written and drawn by Jamal Campbell. This book is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think if we can get more Zatanna stuff like this down the road, definitely keep up with it. Covers have always been amazing. Difficult to pick which one you're going to be grabbing. Frank Cho probably, because look at that. Beautiful. But Jamal Campbell, amazing work. Thank you, DC, for letting someone take a swing on this, because more books like this, please. It's kind of like what Marvel's been doing over with their X-Men spin-off books, but a better execution of it, I think. And that's going to bring us to the end of the 16th books. So now we'll jump over to the 23rd. Absolute Martian Manhunter. Really wanted to like it. Amazing Spider-Man. We're going to talk about for a second. That's why I really want to start doing things like deep cuts, because there's so many comic books that come out every single week, every single month. And we tend to only talk about the books that we're buying or have bought. So diving into some of the other things that we might normally never discuss, I'm excited to do that. And Amazing Spider-Man, I think, seems to be just not performing. A lot of it, just the John Romita Jr. artwork, I think he needs to go. I love Spider-Man. I love checking back on Spider-Man. I'm going to be buying the Black Cat book when that starts coming out next month. So, yeah. I just hate seeing Spider-Man come out and be like, meh. Avatar. This is a Webtoons book. I'm surprised Paul hasn't checked this out, because I think this is just like free to read on the app. I don't know how Webtoons actually works. But yeah, it's the gang. No reviews of it. I don't know Gene Luen Yang, if he's written Avatar stuff before. Well, take a look at his profile. New Spider-Man, Action Comics, frequent lecturer on the subject of graphic novels and comics at conventions and universities, schools, and libraries. Interesting. Never read New Superman, but okay. Yeah, most of the stuff he's done has been like that Superman book. His name does sound familiar, though, so maybe I saw him in like one of those other Superman books. Batman Hush 2, Hattush. Really let down by the first issue of that. Apparently I'm not alone. Reviews of it have not been good. We're up to part 4 already. I'm glad DC is relaunching Batman with the new number 1. probably wind up checking it out. I don't know if it'll just be me looking at it or if we'll discuss it on the show, but I'm intrigued. And that's the most I can say after being let down by Hush 2, because I really wanted more from that book. This is looking like it's going to be a slow week for me on the 23rd. Actually, looks like we got a good amount of reprints coming out too, which usually doesn't show those. Flash Bad Moon Rising special. Okay, let's take a look at this, because this looks like it's Wally West. Bad Moon Rising rages on as focus turns to the Rogue's role as Eclipso's general. Okay, so this is a spin-off from something else going on. And it is the Wally West Flash. But what's this? Is this spinning off of something actually happening in the Flash? Because I don't know. It says it's part 4, so yeah, it has to be. If I just read the trade dress right. Interesting. A Phantom Stranger there? I don't know what this book is, so we'll say no, but you have my interest. Maybe Paul will be checking that one out. We're getting a brand new Godzilla #1, so that'll be a book for John to pull. All right, Tim Seeley, Godzilla with like superpower people? A young boy named Jason with the power of Godzilla, able to harness mysterious Kaisei in the same vein as the King of the Monsters, supposed to either save the world or bring its doom. All right, art by Nicholas Ameza. This actually looks like it could be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm sure John's probably seen that already, but if not, I definitely need to give him a heads up about that, because that definitely seems like it's up his alley. I'm finding books for other people, not myself. Yeah, this is a slow week for me. There used to be a time, like 20 years ago, whenever there was an Army of Darkness crossover book coming out, I would pick it up just because I love Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. But Tim Seeley, just writing everything now. A lot of the books just weren't great, though. And as much as I love like that franchise and that character, it just never actually hit. I'm sure someone's liking them, though. They're putting them out for a reason. Rogue Sun, continuing to buy that. Still enjoying that one. Would like them to expand out the Massiveverse again. Again, still reading Radiant Black. Still enjoying Rogue Sun. I'd like more of those spin-off books that we had before, like No One or... what was it? Inferno Girl Red. Yeah, that was the one that I really enjoyed. More of those to come out, please. But Runaways is a book that I always champion, and glad it's coming back out again as an ongoing. I don't like that it's tying into this One World Under Doom event that's happening. Written by Rainbow Rowell, art by Elena Casagrande. It's Runaways, though. I have to. Covers, we got Paco Medina. All right, looks okay. Got Chase on the cover there. This Nico Carolina cover looks gorgeous, though. Who is that one? Yasmin Putri. Okay, yeah. That would probably be the one that I would wind up grabbing on the shelf. But even just like the regular cover with Chase on it, really cool. Continuing on. Also a book for John, Six Gun, Battle for the Six. I think that's Colin Bunn. Yep. So one of his boys. I'm sure he already knows that one's coming out as well. But besides that, alright, Uncanny X-Men, we'll pop that one open. I don't have a lot to say about Uncanny X-Men besides I'm enjoying the book. But we're going to look at this one more just to see what those variant covers look like. As we scroll through, we'll jump to the next week and open up Uncanny. Yeah, It's Jubilee Nightcrawler on a Ferris wheel. Love it. No notes. Do not like Greg Land Rogue variant covers. If it was any other artist doing a Rogue variant cover, I would probably be grabbing it. But that's going to be a no. And we also have a special 1 in 25 variant with Mutina, who's going to be the new antagonist for this arc. That's a cool cover. Don't mind that one. If that's like an A and B cover, I would probably pull that one, but I'm not going to pay anything extra for it, unfortunately, Marvel. Void Rivals, already talked about how this one is middling for me. And it's sad because I really enjoyed that first one so much. And 20 issues later, the only moments that I really enjoy this book are when Handroid's on panel or if we have some Transformer stuff happening. I'm just so back and forth on it, I really don't know what I want to do. And I feel like that means it's probably something I should drop off of. But moving into July 30th, last week of the month, we have more Webtoons Avatar stuff. A new Loki, #1. Bring on the bad guys. Okay, so this has been a series of one-shots that Marvel's been doing for this month. It's like Villain Month. Part 4 of 7. I haven't checked out any of them, and I don't feel the need to. In my more I need to buy everything, read everything years, I probably would have started to check those out, but not anymore. Continuing on, this is our 5th week for July, so it's going to be a lot of stuff that's either added on or things that they space out from the 4th week to now. Justice League Dark Tomorrow special #1. Take a look at that one while we wait for something else to catch our attention. Nightwing Annual. Take a look at that one too. So Justice League Dark Tomorrow. Okay, I misread that because I read it as Justice League Dark Tomorrow special. In the wake of the We Are Yesterday crossover, mysterious quantum quorum has emerged. Mark Waid, Mark Guggenheim, Clay Tormey. I don't know you, Clay, but I'm intrigued by it. Oh, it's got Booster Gold and Huntress in it. All right. This looks like we're finally getting some of that payoff from what we had with the All-In Absolute special that kind of kicked everything off. And I'm sure some of that tied into that last arc that happened in Justice League Unlimited, but I did fall off of that book just as like trying to trim down on things. New Booster Gold, I guess. Oops. Blue Beetle Booster Gold? Don't know. Gold Beetle, that makes sense. It's a good amalgam of those characters. Amalgam, that's how you actually say that word. Nightwing 2025 Annual. Commissioner Maggie Starr digs into the past crimes of the mysterious Olivia Pierce, discovers far more than she bargained for, uncovers the existence of the strange and terrible entity. Where is this, Annie? Where does it come from? Yeah, I'll just keep buying Nightwing because it's Nightwing. Francavilla on art fits well. Dan Waters does do good dark crime stories, but I don't know, I would love like a Greg Rucka kind of revisit on this. Moving on, already at the end of the week, and yeah, this is going to be a light week for me. Star Wars High Republic, the finale. I've enjoyed a lot of the Star Wars High Republic stuff that Paul and I have read, whether it's been the comic books or word books over on Sister Show Word Books with Friends. But we're at the official end of the High Republic era, and I'm sure there's got to be something else coming out as like a publishing initiative from Marvel and Disney and Star Wars. But the final battle between the Jedi and the Nihil has been fought. Sacrifices have been made. I'm just looking at the characters for spoilers to see who's in here that I already know. And a lot of those characters I do recognize names, if not faces. So, I do need to dive back into that. And that's something I always say with the Star Wars comic books. I do enjoy them. I have liked my time with them, but I hit a critical mass with them where I just couldn't keep up with everything that was coming out without sacrificing some other reading. So that's very much a thing that I do want to pick up in digital trade, maybe for a Star Wars Day if they're on sale. And I can finally catch up with Star Wars and Vader and Dr. Aphra and High Republic and all those other things that I did enjoy but never went back to. I clicked on the Titans Annual too, just to kind of see where Titans are at now, because I always love me some Titans. And my love of them is very cyclical and cycler. I just don't stay on Titans books ever. Vision Scarlet Witch, I'm buying this one for my partner because she loves the Scarlet Witch. And I do like that Marvel does keep bringing this series back as a bunch of miniseries, each one with a different focus, different characters that it's focusing on, just to kind of keep it fresh and keep that character focal. It's really cool. Cover, I didn't see who did it. Leslie Lee. Yeah, that's gorgeous. But yeah, July, kind of a weak month for me. If I just actually pull up my full pull lists, even half the books that I'm buying this week are soft pulls, because the only ones that I'm actually going to be grabbing Green Lantern, Magic, Radiant Black, Supergirl, Transformers, Uncanny X-Men, and Unchosen. The other ones that are here are like soft pulls. Following week, a little bit heavier of a week, but then last 2 weeks. Oh, I missed Psylocke in there. Okay, let's pull up Psylocke. Let's take a look at that one. New History of the DC Universe, I have that on soft pull as well. We'll be talking about issue number 1 tomorrow on the podcast, so look forward to that on episode number 614 of the show. But yeah, let's look at Psylocke. Psylocke has found the home of the man who trained her and rebuilt her into a weapon. Can she face what lives in those walls and what devious creatures watching from afar? Yeah, this sounds like end of story arc, end of series type stuff. It's a cool cover. Spoilers for whatever's happening in August. We'll take a look at that one. Mysterious assassin appeared in Japan, stalking members of the Hand, the Lady in White. What sort of powers does being that can prey on Psylocke's former masters have? And why does she have Quanden's face? It's Psylocke's sister. But that's it for what's been solicited, so that could be cut off unless there's going to be a break, because I think we already have our September solicitations out, so that's something that I need to catch up on. But yeah, July has some good stuff, but nothing brand new that I'm going to be champing at the bit to get. Like, even this final week of the month, July 30th, I have one issue coming out, so that's just something that I can wind up grabbing when I go that first week of August. But listener, viewer, if there's something that I missed that maybe I should be checking out, let me know. Comment on any of the social media posts for wherever you found this episode, or email over at baggedandboardcast@gmail.com. It's 2:49, and I actually need to get started with my day. So see you tomorrow when we actually record the episode that will be released on Wednesday. And I'll see you the next time I want to do one of these. It's probably going to be a monthly thing. So when we get ready for the August books to be pulled, even though I already have a semblance of an idea of what's coming out, I'll be doing another one then. So bye.